Thanks everybody for joining us today. My name's Ariel Leggett. I'm the Senior Account Manager here at Retail Control Systems. I'm joined by our Director of Operations, Matt Gallant, Darlene McQueen, who is our Senior Account Executive, and our special guest today, Baka from Goodwill Industries of New Mexico. And we're all here to show you our new Thrift Production Manager, which is a donated goods barcoding application. So we definitely appreciate you all taking time out of your day to come check this out. Just so you know, everybody is on mute right now by design. Please, if you have questions, pop them into the Q&A or the chat. We'll address those during a Q&A time at the end of the presentation. Some questions, if they're relevant to what we're talking about, may be addressed in real time during the presentation. Again, I just want to make sure that we honor everyone's time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Darlene, take it away.
Great, thanks, Ariel. I'm going to go ahead and stop my video so I can go ahead and present. Okay, so let's talk about who RCS is. So Retail Control Systems was founded in 1987. We provide solutions designed to drive retail success. We have nationwide support offices throughout the US, a dedicated team of retail technology specialists. Our goal is to make sure that whatever solution you buy from RCS, you're provided with superior services that are going to contribute to your long-term success. And today we service roughly about 4,000 retail stores nationwide. So some of the thrift organizations that we service, this is just a handful here, some of which that are using the TPM application as well. Some of the key features of TPM, it's a cloud-based platform designed to run on a browser. We offer APIs for easy integration with point of sale, built-in dashboards for data-driven insights, AI-powered smart pricing tools, so giving you the ability to utilize merchandise, either merchandise that you've received previously, or using the web crawler, it'll go out and look at Poshmark and other thrift organizations to recommend a price. We also support multiple languages, the ability to define your brand name merchandise that you want your producers to do certain things with, either put it in the e-commerce bucket or go out and utilize the AI pricing tool to get a specific price. We have production reports and sell-through data tracking, and the ability for you to easily define your categories for items, prices, and conditions. And Matt's going to talk about all of this when he goes through the demonstration. As far as recommended hardware, it's designed to run, it's browser-based, so it'll run on just about every platform. Currently, we have it certified for Windows-based applications. We do put a low-budget solution, or budget-friendly, I guess is probably the best term, solution together for you with the Pulse all-in-one workstations, the Zebra ZD411s, and it also is certified to run on other Zebra printers as well, and other Windows terminals. If you're looking for wireless, we have the HP Engage Go that it's been fully tested on, 10-inch display, really long battery life, and it's designed to work with a USB cable or an Ethernet printer. As far as labels are concerned, so it's designed to print on color labels. They're essentially white labels with a color reversible sidebar, and those are available through RCS as well, so both the labels and the tags, and available in 8 different colors. And then I will pass this over to Matt, and Matt will take you through the system. Go ahead, Matt.
All right, so thank you everyone for joining us. I want to give you a quick demonstration of how the producer side of our module works. As you can see, as Darlene mentioned, it's a browser-based system. So I'm simply in Google Chrome, right at your website. Each user will have their own specific login. This page is really where a producer would land. So they'd see all their departments right off the bat. Before we dive into the processing piece, I just wanted to show you some of the more administrative pieces. You can select your store that you're working at. So if you're part of an organization and you produce at multiple stores, you have that ability right here on the main screen. You can also select your language. We offer 5 different languages, so your producer can change to whatever language they're comfortable with. You'll also see your week color right here at the top right as well. So this is your main landing page. This is called item entry. This is where you're going to producers are probably going to spend about 90% of their time on what they produce. All these departments are pre-configurable, so they're all done on the administrative side, customized to your specific thrift business. So if I was going to go into men's clothing, I can now break it down into different categories. So we have our activewear, hoodies, sweaters, and so on. Again, all customizable. Categories are totally custom to your specific business. When you have, just to jump back here, you can also create your own favorites page. So if I was someone who's constantly producing furniture and I star it, I can get it right here and it would appear on my favorites as well. So I could have my main producing departments right here on the front page. So I want to just kind of walk through what production would actually look like. So let's jump in and show you what it looks like. So for boys clothing, I'm going to do boys clothing. And today I'm just pulled a pair of pants in to produce. So I'm going to grab a pair of pants. And this is what my next screen will look like. This is all customizable again on the administrative side, but for today's purposes, I set up some kind of standard definitions to show you. So quantity is obvious. I have my different print format, so I can do a tag or a label depending on what's necessary for the product. We'll do print preview so you can see the label that comes out. Size is totally customizable. In this case, we'll do a medium. We also offer the ability to price based on condition and quality. That's one way to price. On the administrative side, it's customizable, whether you want to do a price list by department or category, your own good, better, best system. In this case, we'll do like new, and we'll say it's best. We set up these custom conditions. Just so everyone's aware, once you hit the actual price, that's the same as hitting print. So as soon as I hit price, that's going to send the label or tag to your printer. And then we'll start the process to get picked up in the next run, which the API will pick up and send to your point of sale. So in this case, let's select best. And this is what would be sent to the printer. So this is just an example of a QR tag. There's definitely a bunch of different options, and if you don't want your producers to see all the options, you can go ahead and just select one option to show, and it's totally customizable with ZPL code. Just want to show you kind of one more thing here on the item entry page. So if we hop back into pants, you'll notice over here it says the RCS AI Pricing Assistant. So in this case, you can take specific brands and you can either send them to another part of your business, like e-commerce or boutique, where they might get priced or tagged in a different way. Or you can get some automatic AI pricing built in. And what that does, it's really a web crawler that crawls Poshmark, Goodwill Finds, some of the other secondhand markets out there, and will give you an actual price that you can use for your producers can use. There's also machine learning built in. So if you don't like the price and you keep changing it over time, the module will start to recognize that and adjust to that. So let me just show you, let's pick Nike. So we'll do pants, medium, average, but we'll say they are Nike. So it found $10 here. So it's the AI is running through the crawler, and you can submit it for $10. And that's how it will get produced. So the other way you can use this piece is if you had, let's say, Calvin Klein, which your producers only sell in e-commerce, you can hit here and just move it right over to the e-commerce bin, and it will push your producer right along. Some other features on the production side that I just want to share is each producer will have access to our analytics. There's also advanced analytics on the administrative side, which I'll give you a quick preview of in just a moment. But each producer will be able to see the categories that are being produced. So this is just kind of a look at today in demo mode. So you can see the total value, the categories they fall in, the productivity by each person, different people who might be working at that particular store, in that particular company, what brands are being produced, and then also looking at the print format and what they're using as far as tags and labels as well, which can also be a manager access feature. Some other neat features on the producer side, you also have your top performer. So if you wanted to do some gamification at your particular store, you can actually have kind of this dashboard, which will show you the daily top performer if you wanted to do that to create some competition among your team. You can do it based on item, you can do it based on value, however you choose to do it. You also have access to the history. The API does pick up every 10 to 15 minutes and move this data into your point of sale. Each item gets a unique barcode. So if you ever needed to go back and reprint a label, it's all here. If you ever needed to go back and just check something on something that was produced, it's all here and accessible. The last piece here is just a bulk item entry if you had a whole rack and you wanted to get them all and print them all out at once. As I said before, all of this is all customizable on the administrative side. We have different configurations that you can use as well as different reports. So I wanted to show you a report that just launched actually within the last couple of weeks, which is our sell-through reporting. So this is an example of a sell-through report. And with this, it's actually a two-way API. So you can see, I'm looking at about a month and a half, the number of items that were produced, the average price they're produced at, and then what has sold, and what they've sold for, if there was a discount or a write-off. In this case, there wasn't, and then what's left on hand out of these items. So you can roll that up to a producer level. If you clicked in, you could get it into a category level as well. And it can roll up by store. You can also filter it down to your specific departments, specific categories, and then if you wanted to break out a store as well. You can see your sell-through rate over time, as well as some top producers. You also have access to some additional analytics, really a production overview. So I'll just update my time feature. Doesn't look like there's any data in our demo system, but this will give you a full report basically on how you're doing at each of the stores. So if you looked over here, you can look at it at a store level and then look at exactly how many each store is producing and compare them with each other. And as I said before, you have all your configurations here and then all your user access. So lots of accessibility. It's customizable to your current business and very easy to use. So that's it. And
Thank you. So I just want to introduce Baka from Goodwill Industries of New Mexico, current IT applications manager. And Isa is here really to share his experience because he has a wealth of experience in Goodwill, both in retail and IT. And he and his team have been integral in the development, design, and rollout and beta testing of Thrift Production Manager, or TPM. So Isa is going to talk a little bit about kind of the barcoding journey from no barcoding to a couple different systems, and just really be able to answer your questions and just talk about that journey. So I'm going to pass it over to Isa now. Thanks for joining us here, Isa. We're really happy to have you.
Thank you, everyone. That was cool. So I do have some slides to share. So yeah, a little bit about myself. go back. I did start in retail, so I was started as a retail manager. I ran 3 of our locations, and then I transitioned over to the IT department about 2.5 years ago. So when I first started with Goodwill, we didn't have barcoding. We were entering things manually, and we'll take a look back here in a second. I don't know if you guys. It looks like it's in the way on mine, but
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, cool. We'll take a look back. We'll take a look back at our transition from non-barcoding to barcoding, and then a couple of quick notes about the thrift production module that we have learned along the way. So, like Ariel said, I'm with Goodwill Industries of New Mexico. We service all of New Mexico except for Las Cruces. So, there's that. So a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, we used to do everything manually. These tools a lot of you are familiar with: barbing guns, different colored barbs, pricing guns, where every single item you're looking and creating a unique, price for everything. So it really gave a lot of leeway for your retail associates to kind of do whatever they wanted price-wise, right? It was very limited in how you could control things and how you could control prices. For us, soft-line prices used to be set at the POS. So any T-shirt, jeans, sweaters, whatever it was, all it got was a colored barb to let us know what week we were producing. For hard lines, those were priced using the hardline tagging guns, which again was a manual entry of a price, and then a sticker got created, and you would have to enter that price at the POS. As a lot of you can probably attest to, it was really hard to track things. The way we did it, we had a paper copy that every retail associate would have at their processing station. If they were working textiles, they would mark, this is how many I produced on this rack, this is how many I produced on that rack, this is how many I produced on that rack, before they went out to the store. This made it really difficult because at the end of the day, your store manager or myself, right, would have to go in and we would enter everything manually onto a spreadsheet. Obviously, this has a lot of, it's error prone, doing all these things manually. I have questions here, but we can say those to the end. So, this was also difficult at the POS station, right? Because every item, when you go to enter a single item, you would have to go over here and select a category or a department, so men's, women's, kids, etc. You would have to enter the subcategory or category in this department. Whether it's a T-shirt, sweater, whatever, and then you'd have to select the week color because you'd want to know, has this item been on the sales floor, for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and so that stuff would get captured from your point of sale, and that would finally get you the price at your POS to charge the customer. So, a couple issues with this, right? Number one, it's time consuming at your point of sale. For every single item, you're handling it. Your cashier is identifying the department, the category, and the week color. So that's 3 spots where that cashier can make an error. The second thing on the production side, as you saw, is very time consuming there because you have to, not only were they producing these things, they had to manually track what they were producing after they produced it. So not only were they, let me produce this item, but let me count how many items I produced before I roll it out to the sales floor. It was also fraud prone, right? Because at your register, you had no control over, what your cashiers were selecting for the departments and categories, and whether or not they were selecting the correct things at the correct price points. And really, your only recourse was, let me go review my cameras or something like that to say, oh, they didn't select the right category, and that was very difficult. to kind of go back and see what someone had done. And it was, prone to mistakes and incredibly difficult to track. All your production, you knew based on your spreadsheet that you hoped was correct, and based on what you sold from your point of sale, and you would have maybe, a number of items that you think were sold out of the ones you produced, you weren't really sure because of all those different mistakes that could have been made along the way. So this was back in 2020 for us when we first transitioned to any barcoding system. It did have its challenges. First of all, training your associates on a new system is always going to be a little bit challenging. It's new. They don't really, they're not used to it. It's different. Those kind of things. I will say from our experience, it took maybe about 2 weeks to get all of our stores on board, and that was about it. After that, they were rolling. It was more about training like store management on how to pull reports that they weren't used to, where to find those kind of things that maybe took a little bit longer because we weren't used to being so data driven. We weren't used to seeing a sell-through. We weren't used to seeing, reporting that was accurate, right? And being able to rely on that was took even longer. Your IT departments also probably had a challenge in implementation as far as just, we have to put a computer where, those kind of things. I will say from our experience, the benefits far outweighed the challenges, right? Whether it was item tracking, being able to know that, ISA produced X item on this date at this time, and it's sold at this other time, and being able to track that all the way through was a huge benefit to us. Not only in, again, the efficiency, but also in the fraud prevention, in, the sweetheart deals that maybe, people come into your store and they get, favorable pricing because you're entering it all manually. All of that stuff went away. Efficiency at the POS. Instead of entering 3 different things, you're scanning an item and it's popping up. It's like magic, right? There's no guesswork. There was no, there's no, I wonder how much that sold for, because you knew exactly as soon as they scanned it that the price was going to come up. Also, even in the fraud prevention area, if you're reviewing cameras, you can see if a cashier was scanning every single item, and you could see on that screen every item popping up. So that made fraud prevention a lot faster. It also led to a lot of efficiencies in our production system in the back room. So where our retail associates were actually producing things, it led us to create new production systems for them in order to make this more efficient. So it also led to better customer satisfaction for us, because customers weren't going, I got charged for a blouse instead of a t-shirt, right? Because it was on the barcode, you have the category and the subcategory, and you can tell from the tag what exactly you're purchasing. Price controls was another huge one for us. For our wares department, we know that when that item is scanned, it was getting entered into the POS correctly. Whereas the old way, if a retail associate selected wares, they had to manually enter, $1.99, $5.99, $7.99, etc. From a data management perspective, I mean, that's something that just continues to yield results for us. We're able to look at what categories and subcategories are selling the best, where we are lacking in production. All those kinds of things have been a benefit from us from transitioning to barcode. Obviously, the RCS Thrift Production Manager has everything you could really want in a production module. I mean, starting with the barcodes. The barcodes that come standard, I mean, the most commonly used ones, they can take a beating, right? This barcode style can get ripped in half, and you can still scan it and still get the price off it. They can get mangled. You can still scan them at your register. And then again, the reporting is just really, really next level as far as what you can control and what you can pull from the data sets that you're doing. When we first started, partnering with RCS on developing this, it was sort of this like pie in the sky idea, like, okay, well, what if we could make our own, barcoding system, and what would it look like, and what would be perfect, and what would be ideal, and what would we want to control? Well, for us, it's everything, right? We want to be able to control our prices. We want to be able to see, we want to be able to control, what the interface looks like. We want to be able to control, who has access, the users, who has access to see what, who's setting goals, all those kinds of things, and all that stuff is built into the Thrift Production Manager. One of the things, and I'm going to share this real quickly, and brag on the team, but they yesterday I introduced some of them to how to customize the icons in the production module, and so we started with this, real user friendly, right? Like the icons were, cool, but I kind of wanted to make it pop, a little bit more. We probably had a 30-minute discussion on, how to go in there, how to customize the icons, and I'm not kidding. In the next hour, we were able to completely change the interface, all the different icons that were on the screen, and this went out to all of our stores all at once. When I came in this morning, all of our store managers were here in our office for a meeting, and they were all just talking about how awesome it looked. So the customization is huge. We were with a previous provider that we were doing barcoding with, and in order to get something like this done would have taken months for us to complete. We would have had to, put in a ticket. They would wanted us to send them a list of what icons we wanted where. This process is much more streamlined, much faster, and much more can be suited to your individual needs, depending on what your thrift looks like. That's really all I have for now. We can open it up to questions.
That was great.
Thanks, Isa. I love you bragging on your team and just talking about how customizable this application is, because I think that's really the crux of it, right? Like if you've seen one Goodwill, you've seen one Goodwill. And then of course there's St. Vinny's, Salvation Armies, there's all flavors of thrift out there. And so everybody does things a little bit differently, and to have the pricing and donation sources and even just the whole look and feel of the application, customizable at your fingertips on a whim, I think that's just really the power behind this. And of course the analytics piece is huge. It's a game changer. So right now we're going to open it up to questions, unless anyone else from our team has anything they want to add before we move on. We're good? Okay, so we do have a question here. How to go about editing and adding a label, design, or format?
Sure, I can take that one.
Cool.
Great,
Thanks, Matt.
great question. Yeah, excellent question. So it's all available to you. So it's all base code is all Zebra code. So ZPL, and it's all available to you on your admin function. There's so much to go through. I didn't show it in my demo, but I'm happy to show you at another time. But you can actually get in there. If you're pretty ZPL savvy, you have the ability to adjust it. We can also do it for you. I will say that the restrictions tend to be, if you want, it has to be data coming out of the production mod. So categories, departments, qualities, all that stuff is very easily accessible to us. We can customize what type of barcode, whether you want a QR, 3D. We can do all that type of stuff. And then anything else really, we have that ability as long as it can be done within ZPL and fit in kind of our standard framework of our required labels. But we strongly recommend sticking with the zebra model, we found that the module works just really well with kind of your standard zebra lineup. Oh, yes, you can add week number to the label. Absolutely. Yep, that's one of those available fields.
Nice. Great. Awesome. Any other questions out there? I forgot to mention at the beginning of the webinar, we are recording this, and everyone that's signed up and attended will get a copy of the recording emailed directly to them. This will also be available after the fact on our YouTube channel as well.
And I did have my my contact info in there. I love talking about this module. It is awesome. It's fun. It is, you know, it is so cool to work with. And I can't really say enough about it, but feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions also. Because I just love talking about it.
Isa, we really appreciate you. You're just like your dedication to this application and just the betterment of all the processes that are really going to streamline operations and allow you to really increase revenue, right? Because you're able to look at pricing and what's working and what's not working, and maybe see when producers need some training, or, you know, because their items aren't selling and maybe they just need like some coaching on how to do a better job. And it's not just getting you more revenue in the door, but it's also just really meeting people where they're at and helping them develop their skills, which builds confidence, which, you know, carries over to other places in life. So it's just all around really awesome.
Yeah, and I will add, just being part of the development of the module, folks like Isa from Goodwill, New Mexico, folks from Eric from Goodwill of Spokane, and beyond, Kevin from Goodwill of Greater Washington. They really, we've taken their feedback really serious in what it takes to be successful in kind of the thrift world, and really incorporated a lot of that into our design, into our future roadmap, and it's really, you know, designed by our customers, which is really exciting.
Yeah. And we have another great question here. Can you talk on the API integration with POS? Is there a native integration out of the box for sell-through? So 2 really good questions there. Thank you, Sam.
Yes, great question. Yes, so it is. So we have the native built with for Counterpoint. So that is all set. For other POS systems, it will work. Right now, we're working on those native integrations, but it would be a standard API through a Swagger mod to get that data over. The API is really simple. It takes a series of features: week color, date, producer. I'm forgetting something, individual number, and gets it over to Counterpoint as a non-inventory item, and it will be in Counterpoint, and then it tracks that through that unique number, and then the data comes back. So it's two-way. Will come back in, and that's how we get that sell-through data. I think I mentioned in my demo, the data goes over every 10 to 15 minutes. The kind of job runs and fires data back and forth. So it's a super simple setup. We have a great dev team here who will get you all set up, and we can really get you up and running on the API side in 20-30 minutes.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. Are there any other questions out there? I'll give everybody another minute or 2 to type in your burning questions. Of course, if you have additional questions, you can reach out to myself, to Darlene. Darlene, do you have that slide with your contact info you want to pop up there?
Sure.
And then, of course, Isa is willing to talk about TPM till the cows come home, which we're really excited about, because I think it's really good to hear from your peers and to just really be able to speak the same language and get that candid feedback about, you know, what's worked, what's not worked, what the experience is going to be like, you know, from the actual side of implementing it into the organization. Great. Awesome. Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions, and I want to make sure to honor everyone's time. I'm sure everybody has a lot going on today, so we're going to end the webinar. And again, you'll get a copy of the recording, and this will be available on our YouTube channel as well. So thank you everybody for attending. Isa, thank you for being here with us. Matt, Darlene, Ryan, thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.